March Madness, is that you? Oh, wait. My bad. I'm sorry, NHL. You guys have brought so much chaos, so many upsets, and such much needed intense playoff hockey to our televisions over the past week. Well, I thought you guys were the August version of March Madness, just on the ice and not on the hardwood. What's up, everybody? I'm Jotham, and Andrew and I are back at it again on what promises to be an absolutely loaded fourth episode of Top of the Standings. If you started a podcast but didn't know how to distribute it, then Anchor is the app for you. Anchor is a completely free and easy-to-use hosting platform for podcasting. A computer or even a mobile device with a functional internal or external microphone is all you need to start recording your podcast with Anchor. When you do finish recording your podcast audio, you can simply edit it and upload it to the biggest podcasting platforms like iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and more. If you were like me and you didn't have the foggiest clue on how to start a podcast, Anchor is the perfect place to start. For more information, go to anchor.fm on the web or download the Anchor app on your mobile device. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's been going on, Andrew. What have I been seeing from the NHL? I've never been so excited about the NHL in my life. I don't know what's going on.
That was an exciting weekend, man. So many elimination games, and we got a few upsets too.
Oh yeah.
We had a few upsets. Who thought the Coyotes were going to make it past the qualifying round? I didn't.
The Coyote.
Yes, they probably believed in themselves. Yes, I mean, they should have. You saw how well they played.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah. So we talked about my poor jinxing history, and it continued because the Blackhawks beat the Oilers and went on to the next round. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna forget about that.
Yeah, dude. I gotta ask you, what do you think was the best series from this qualifying round?
That is a very good question. I don't know. I really Vancouver and Minnesota. That was a good series. Then we had the Coyotes. They obviously went on. That was a pretty close series. Then we had Calgary. That wasn't the biggest series for them, but that Columbus and Toronto series was very exciting.
Yes.
It went the distance. And it didn't disappoint. Obviously, I'm not the biggest Maple Leafs fan, so I was rooting for the Blue Jackets, and they proved why they should go on to the second round, winning the final game, the fifth game, by a wide margin too. So it wasn't close, but it was still exciting.
Yeah, without a doubt, I think the Blue Jackets Maple Leaf series was the most intense and the best. Not just because it was the only qualifying series that went 5 games, which I'll get to that insane stat later, but I'm saying that because they literally went back and forth. The first 2 games they traded shutouts. Then the next 2 games they trade 3-0 blown leads. And then game 5, well, it could have been anything, but it turned out to be another shutout in favor of the Blue Jackets. But that was a back and forth heavyweight title fight on the ice series.
Yeah, it was just like you said, back and forth, punches after punches after punches, and then finally it looked like the Maple Leafs were tired out because that last game, it was kind of underwhelming, and especially for Toronto not being able to get out of the first round notoriously. If I were a Maple Leafs fan, I would be very, very disappointed.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed in the Maple Leafs too, because I mean, if they stuck with the traditional 16 playoff format, the Maple Leafs would have been in. So they were a playoff team, but it's just sad to see that front line, Tavares' crew, and it's just like their team is so talented, and this is a common saying around the NHL. Their team is so talented, but they couldn't, make anything happen. They got shut out in an elimination game, and their top 3 players are paid like over combined $47 million or something like that. That is crazy.
Yeah, and again, disappointing for the city of Toronto once again, choking in the playoffs.
Yeah, at least they got the Raptors.
That is true.
But yeah, dude, a lot of good series on, but we can't forget about the round robins. They brought some very interesting results too. Both of the top seeds going into the round robin, the Blues and the Bruins, they both just pulled to Detroit and went from number 1 to number 4.
Yeah,
Wow, that was a good analogy.
that was a very good analogy. It kind of, hurt me inside too. But, you know, those those are two really good teams in the past few years, and to see them, go from 1 to 4 again is disappointing for their fan bases. But we can't forget about the Golden Knights.
No.
What a performance they put on during the round robin.
Mm-hmm.
They looked fantastic.
Yeah, and let me tell you this. Raise your hand if you think that watching that game, that watching that Avalanche Golden Knights game. Raise your hand if you think that those two teams could have a legit 7-game series. I'm raising my hand. I don't know about you.
Me too.
That was such a great, they played like the number 1 seed was on the line. They played
Yeah.
like a game 7. It was very much like it, bro. That was a very good game.
Yeah, it really was. And obviously went into overtime and the Golden Knights snuck it out 4-3. But it just brought that energy. Even with no fans, it brought that high intensity playoff energy. Really exciting game.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good, substitute for the insane crowd reactions. Very good substitute, especially hearing the players simultaneously and collectively screaming, yeah, in celebration. It was so awesome, especially when I seen the Maple Leafs come back from down 3-0 and had freaking 3 goals in 5 minutes. That was a nasty comeback. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That was so awesome to see them celebrate like they were little kids on a sand lot. Yeah, that was crazy. But how about me getting right back in the prediction game? I said the Flyers were my championship pick last week, and they kind of proved it in this round robin. They swept the round robin, man.
Yeah, they did. And again, I don't know where this prediction magic is coming from because I don't know too much about the Flyers, but seeing them perform super well in the round robin was very impressive. Just
Mm-hmm.
win after win after win after win. Like you said, they went undefeated, and personally that took me by surprise.
I don't blame you, man, because I mean the Flyers were literally last amongst the round robin teams, and they swept them. They said, "Well, you guys have us last in the standings. Well, pun intended. We're gonna go to the top of the standings."
Yeah, they just again played well, and then like Saturday, they beat the Lightning 4-1, and that's not a close game. That is
Mm-mm.
not a close game. That proves to you that they have weapons and they are ready to make a run.
Yeah, and it's not even like you said, man. You made a good point. It wasn't even like the Flyers were in extremely tight games and it went to shootouts and overtimes. No, they beat these teams handily. They beat the Bruins 4-1. They beat the Capitals 3-1, and like you said, they beat the Lightning 4-1. Those are not. That's not just close games. That's domination on the part of the
Yeah,
Flyers.
yeah, and again, really, really impressive round robin round for the Flyers.
Definitely, man. Now, it sucks kind of that I'm not going to be able to see Flyers Penguins. Um, but I'm going to tell you this right now, Drew. We got some juicy, saucy matchups. I mean, you look at the Lightning Blue Jackets rematch. That's one. You got Capitals versus Islanders. Barry Trotz is going to coach against the Capitals. Then you have uh, I'm sorry, Bruins Hurricanes rematch of the Eastern Conference. Dude, the Eastern Conference is loaded with juicy matchups.
Yeah, it sure is. I'm really, really interested in seeing the Tampa Bay and Blue Jackets series. I feel like that is a toss up.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, obviously, you see what the Blue Jackets have done, not just to the Lightning, but to the Maple Leafs recently. It doesn't matter, and let's keep in mind that the Jackets did that all 5 games in Toronto.
Yeah.
So that wasn't exactly easy. Having
No,
all
it wasn't.
having to play an entire series in your opponent's house.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a complete toss up because again, the Lightning have been notoriously good in the playoffs the past few years, and now they seem to struggle in the round robin. Seeing them against the Blue Jackets, who took the Maple Leafs by storm, and again beat them in again 5 games, so it wasn't a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's why I think it is a toss up because neither team really like defeated their opponents by a large margin.
Yeah, it was good television for us, especially even for the teams that we didn't really like 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 for you, the Canadians and the Penguins. Even though neither of those teams, you're really you're not really rooting for either of those teams. You just want to
Yeah,
see a close game and one team get tossed to the side.
yeah, yeah. That was a very good series. Again, I'm not like you said, I'm not a fan of either team, but I'm here for the exciting matchups.
Yeah, it was like it basically went like this. Ham mode activated, said the Blackhawks and the Canadians to the Oilers and the Penguins.
Yeah, yeah, it did.
Yeah, 12 seeds. They both. That's why I compared this to March Madness because the 12 seeds beat the 5 seeds, and it's just like no one really saw this coming. You would think that the Blackhawks and the Canadians would probably tank because, well, I mean they're only here because the playoffs got expanded so
Yeah,
bigly.
yeah. It's kind of crazy. I'm very surprised by the Blackhawks' performance, but I'm not. I was about to jinx them. I think the Golden Knights and Blackhawks series will be very exciting.
Very exciting, huh? Wow.
Yes, I'm not gonna even think about jinxing it, so I'm just going to say it's going to be exciting.
Okay. I was gonna get to series predictions. I already see where you're going with that one, so I'll leave the Golden Knights and Blackhawks out of that. But as for the rest of the 7 series, let's make some picks here, man, because we got
Yes,
some good
let's do it.
matchups here, man. How about the
Let's do it.
Avalanche and the Coyotes?
Ooh, that I could see an upset coming, but yet again we saw the Avalanche perform really well. So I unfortunately I'm not an Avalanche fan. I think I'm gonna go with the Avalanche. I think they're gonna move on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, McKinnon and McCarr, and that line is just so nasty to me. And it's just like, wow, looking at those guys, play the chemistry and all this stuff. It's just like the Avalanche are loaded. I saw it last year in the playoffs when they showed
Yeah,
flashes of potential, but this year I think they are a real, legitimate Stanley Cup contender. Those
I
young
agree.
those young players, they're answering the call, and I think they're at least gonna move on to the second round. So I got the Avalanche too, man.
Okay, let's go with Dallas and Calgary. What is your pick?
See, the Stars didn't play too well in the round robin, but seeing how they came back against the Blues, Joe Pavelski bailed them out literally. Um, but the Flames, I mean, I don't, I this out of all the series, I think this one is the most. This Stars Flames series is going to be the hardest one to pick for me because I didn't really see too much from either of these teams. Like the Stars, they weren't necessarily the greatest, in the round robin. They only finished third, and they're lucky they didn't finish last thanks to Joe Pavelski's late third period goal that sent it to overtime, and then they eventually won the shootout. But then the
Yeah,
Flames, they got lucky. I think they really got lucky because the Jets were injured and stuff like that.
yeah,
I mean, especially the one to Scheifele, man. Mark Scheifele, that was a
yeah,
big injury. I think that changed the series, dude.
yeah. I agree, and we mentioned it last week. That brought some bad blood, and I think all that momentum went in favor of the Flames. And again, like you said, I didn't really see much from either team, so this is going to be a very tough pick.
Yeah, very tough. But I'm gonna go with the Stars. Because of the success that I've seen from them, and the fact that they can come back from the jarring jaws of defeat like that against the Blues, the defending the Stanley Cup champions. I have confidence that they can turn that ship around against the Flames. So I'm picking the Stars here.
Okay, so for me, I don't see Calgary being a Stanley Cup contender. So with that being said, I really do think Dallas is going to pull this series out. I think it's going to be close. I do not think it's going to be won by a wide margin, and I think it's going to be in favor of Dallas.
Interesting. Well, seeing how things are turning out, let's continue with these tough picks. How about Blues and Canucks?
Ooh, that is another tough series because again, it's similar. The Canucks are similar to Calgary in my eyes.
Hmm.
It was they played the Wild. The Wild again. I don't really know much about the Wild. It was a very again. It seemed like a very bad blood series. Like there was a lot of tension going on between the two teams, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I didn't see much from Vancouver. So I think this is again tough. I think I am going to go with the reigning Stanley Cup champions, the Blues. I think I'm going to go with the Blues in this one.
I don't blame you, man. I have confidence, especially in Jordan Bennington. You know, the
Yeah,
goalie. He's been playing really well, especially considering you know the start that the Blues had last year. The Blues have just been on the just running on notes ever since that January run they had, and then the eventual championship run they went on. They've been just running on notes and saxophones ever since they had that run.
that was good.
Thank you. But with that being said, I think I really do like what I'm seeing from the Canucks. They have caught me by surprise. I did not expect them to be not just in this 2014 playoff, but in the traditional 16 team playoff as well. I really do like what
Yeah,
I'm seeing from Canucks, and I think that's going to continue against the Blues. I'm actually going to pick the Canucks in this one.
nice. Finally, we have opposite picks. You took the counter argument, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're both going with Vegas. I really don't think the Blackhawks have a chance. I have like this one friend I have. He has so much confidence in the Blackhawks. He says the Blackhawks are going to make a Stanley Cup run. I'm like, whoa, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because not because of the Blackhawks. They had a really good series against the Oilers,
hmm
but we need to think about who they're playing. The Vegas Golden Knights have been in their 3-year history extremely good. In the
hmm
playoffs, especially last year, they had that call that went to the Sharks that was very, very controversial. I still don't agree with the call, but I feel like if that call never happened, the Golden Knights would have been right there yet again in the Stanley Cup. So me, I'm a big believer in the Golden Knights. I do think they perform very well in the playoffs, and I think obviously I think we all knew this was coming. I think they're going to win.
I agree, man. I just don't see the Blackhawks continuing this stuff because the Oilers are one team. Yeah, they were a playoff contender, but I didn't see them, play very well. And I mean, it was another case of Connor McDavid, being by himself and then getting himself shut down. So I didn't really see too much confidence. This Golden Knights team is not the Oilers, so I'm obviously picking the Oilers. But let me shift it over to the East, man, where we were just talking about these juicy matchups. Let me start with the easiest one to pick and build ourselves up in difficulty. The Flyers and the Canadians. Like I said, I got the Flyers. No explanation needed. I just don't. I just don't have too much confidence in the Canadians. They were not supposed to do. They were not supposed to beat the
No,
Penguins, man.
no, and they weren't. And hey, I don't blame you for already picking the Flyers because I think I'm going to do the same. The Flyers, they just looked really, really good yet again in the round robin, and I see where you're coming from. I do think they are a Stanley Cup contender, but they will not be my pick to win it all. Foreshadowing that, but they played very well, and Montreal. Who thought they were going to beat the Penguins? I didn't. I don't like the Penguins, so I was hoping they won, but I truly did not believe they were going to win.
Do you know
So
how
I'm
you
going to
know
go with the
how
Flyers.
you know how long I've been trying to find Penguins fans' reaction to that game 4, man. I have been searching on YouTube for Penguins fans' reactions because I've seen so much salt. I've seen so much salt, man.
Yeah, I'm sure they were very angry.
Oh my gosh, man. But who I know another fan base that was also angry. The Lightning were angry last year when the Blue Jackets swept them. So here we are again with the rematch. How's it gonna go this time?
Like I said before, it's going to be a very close series. I I I do like how Columbus snuck out the series win against Toronto, but I don't think they're gonna do the same this year. I'm gonna have to go with Tampa Bay, even though I do not like the Lightning. But I do think that they are the better team, and I do think they will succeed.
Okay. I um I really do. I really have liked what I've seen from the Lightning. Minus the Flyers loss. I mean, beating the Bruins and the Capitals is no joke. I really do like what I've seen from the Lightning, but um I just think that Lightning is going to strike twice. I don't know how you would want to take that, but anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that I think the Blue Jackets are going to pull off the upset again.
Wow,
I
that now
really
that
think.
is a surprise pick.
I really
Wow.
do. I don't know why, but I have a feeling in my gut that Columbus is going to do this again because everybody was picking the Lightning last year. Everybody was picking the Maple Leafs this year, and and Columbus just stepped in and said, "No, we are moving on to the next round." So I think that's exactly what they're going to do again this year.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad at it. That is a very bold pick, though.
Yeah, I know, man, but hey, gut feelings when you got them feelings in your gut, man, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. That was that. Hey, I like that pick. I like the pick.
I do too, man. But I don't know about this Capitals Islanders series. I don't know what to expect from these two teams.
Yeah, I this time, like you said, I'm gonna go with my gut, and I think Washington until the other year. I think they're gonna continue on track with choking in the first round. So I'm gonna go with the Islanders. I just feel like I don't know why. I feel like the Islanders have a chance to make a run. They did perform pretty decent. And I don't know. I just have a feeling the Islanders are going to move on and face Tampa Bay.
Okay, I like the analysis. I mean Barry Trotz is going to be that X factor. I believe he's going to be the X factor off the ice because he knows the Capitals really well. He coached them to
Yeah,
that championship.
yeah, he did. That is another good point.
Yeah, so Barry Trotz and that roster is not that different from that championship run. So I know Barry Trotz knows that team very well, but the Capitals. I mean, I think they have confidence with that win against the Bruins. And I think Ovechkin is going to have one of those series where he excels. I feel like he's going to be able to prove something to his coach. I think the Capitals have something to prove to not just themselves but to Barry Trotz because I mean the Capitals just have a lot of confidence and a lot of motives. Um, and they've played really well in the Bruins game. So I think that's going to carry over to the series. I think the Capitals are going to pull this one out and move on to the next round.
Okay. I don't blame you with the pick. I'm going with my gut, and I like the pick again. I like the pick.
Yeah, man. But on to our last series, man. And this is going to be the most intense one for me, particularly because particularly because one of the teams I am a heavy fan of, and the other is a team that always beats a team that I want the other team to beat. Bruins Canes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that I like I said last week, Carolina is my Stanley Cup winner, and with that being said, they're gonna move on.
I'm going Canes. No explanation needed.
Hey, I neither of us like the Bruins, so I don't feel like we need to explain ourselves. That may be a little bit biased, but that's okay. I just don't like Boston. I do like what I'm seeing in Carolina though. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah, but realistically though, the Bruins just got swept in a round robin. No momentum whatsoever. No confidence. The Carolina Hurricanes just beat a team that swept them in the regular season. Where is the momentum going? All the way to Carolina. So
Yep.
yeah, that's a lot of momentum.
Yeah, it sure is. And, if Sebastian Aho continues to just perform like a superstar, I think, again, they are going to make a Stanley Cup run.
I don't blame you, man. I'm really hoping to see it. I will be screaming on Tuesday and throughout the series, for in support of my Hurricanes. So, yeah, go Canes, go.
Yeah.
But let me shift this attention to the NBA because they're having their own little playoff situations as well. We've seen a couple of teams eliminated. The Kings and the Pelicans are gone from the playoff race as we approach the last 5 days of this restart.
Yeah. And it's picking up. It's going to be very exciting.
Mm-hmm. But the AC race just got even closer, dude. What have the Phoenix Suns been on this past 2 weeks?
I think they're sick of their playoff drought. I've never seen Devin Booker perform so well in some like very odd circumstances. Obviously, there's no crowd. Obviously, they're in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And Devin Booker, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He'll still go off.
Oh, definitely. Did you see that game winner he hit over PG?
Oh, PG definitely got flashbacks from last year's playoffs.
Oh my gosh.
I think he probably thought it was good defense like he did on Dame last year. He said right after Damian Lillard hit that game-winning three-pointer to move on, he said that was good defense. And hey, it was. And he played good defense again on Devin Booker. But again, a game-winning shot on his head.
It's just better offense by the offensive guy.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you're PG, there's really nothing more you can do but just hope
No.
that the player is not an elite offensive scorer.
Yeah, he's just ran into some bad luck.
Yeah, dude. But regardless, I mean, the Trailblazers have had that up and down, type of weekend because the Blazers have been hot coming into Saturday. Then they had this little bump in the road. The Clippers. That was a very interesting turn of events for the Blazers because it wasn't looking too good. Damian
No.
Lillard. I finally saw Damian Lillard choke for once.
Yeah.
Um,
Those 2 free throws.
yeah, that was weird. But the fact that the Clippers were goofing off and taunting him. Oh my gosh, dude. And then Dame and PG had an exchange afterwards. Oh my gosh, bro. Disrespect.
I expect nothing less from Patrick Beverley. That he is definitely he's like the Dennis Rodman of this NBA generation.
Mm,
He just gets under players' skin. We saw what he did to KD last year. They both
mm-hmm.
got ejected, and that's exactly what Pat Bev wanted. So I just think that's what makes him an elite defender because he gets under players' skin. And again, he just seems to make players choke in some big situations.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I always look back at Lonzo's first game against the Clippers. Oh my gosh. I always look at that and just think Patrick Beverly is such an underrated dude in this
Yeah.
league. But regardless, man, the race for eighth is getting thin, obviously. But the Grizzlies have really made it thin because they've been losing games. They finally won a game in the bubble, beating the Thunder, and then they turn around and lose to the Raptors again. So now,
Yeah, disappointing.
sorry, man, but the Grizzlies, it's not looking too good, especially with the injury to Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
It's really not looking too good. And with how hot the Suns have been, and with the Blazers literally a half a game behind their heels, and the Spurs sandwiched in between them, like literally, with 5 days left to go, the Grizzlies. The Suns and the Grizzlies are 1.5 games apart, and the Suns are just climbing and climbing, and they've beaten the toughest opponents. It's not like they've just had the Wizards and the Mavericks or the Magic and the Nets throughout the whole schedule. No, they've beaten playoff contending teams, and it's really good wins too.
That's impressive too, because again, I've said this about even in the NHL. Who thought the Suns were going to go 5-0 in the bubble?
The
The
Suns.
Suns.
Oh my gosh, dude. But yeah, dude. I mean, I'm really excited to see what the Suns can do. And shortly after we get off, they're playing the Thunder, so that should be a very interesting matchup, especially considering the Thunder are still fighting for playoff position and stuff like that. If the Suns win that game, I I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I'm gonna have to make sure I watch the Suns game. I'm really gonna
Yeah.
have to see what this team is all about.
If they continue to win, I think they are deserving of a playoff spot. They really want it, and you can tell.
Most definitely. But my thing is, oh my gosh, either the Grizzlies or the Blazers are going to have to move aside, and that's going to be a tough thing to do, especially with how good the Blazers have been playing. I think they'll jump the Spurs. I honestly don't see the Spurs getting that ninth spot, even though they're a half a game behind the Blazers. I don't see it. But man, uh, it's gonna be an interesting week, man. This is, oh my gosh. And then the playing games are Saturday. Oh boy, this is gonna be so good. That's all I got to
To
say.
another exciting top of the standings next week.
Yeah, dude, you already know it. Oh my gosh, dude, that's gonna be so good. So glad to have sports back, man.
Me too.
Most definitely. Although there will not be a play-in game for the Eastern Conference. That's just how far behind the Wizards were in the first place. Um, But good news from my Magic is that we don't have to fight the 9 seed for a trip to Giannis land. Bad news is
Yeah.
we're going to have to play Giannis in the first round because we are 2.5 games behind the Nets because we've been so cold recently. And yeah, it's not looking too good. We've lost our last 4 games, and the Nets have been pulling away, winning their last 2. So yeah, bring on Giannis! Yay!
Yeah. All I got to say is good luck because I witnessed Giannis Antetokounmpo, his greatness right in front of my eyes when I went to Game 3 of the NBA playoffs between the Pistons and the Bucks, and it was not pleasant. The first 3 quarters, all right, and then Giannis decided he was sick of a close game and just decided to step on the gas and absolutely just break Pistons fans' hearts around the globe.
Yeah, that. I'll be joining the club soon. So
Good luck.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna need it. But how about the rest of the playoff races though? It's not just the 8 seeds, going on. I mean, the middle of the pack is still very well undecided. I mean, the Mavericks are basically locked in at 7, but between the Rockets, the Jazz, and the Thunder, they are only 1.5 games apart. So,
Yeah.
whew,
I'm impressed with the Thunder. I think every single NBA fan who has kept up with the season is very impressed because before the season even started, the Thunder trade Russell Westbrook to the Rockets for Chris Paul. And everyone thought Chris Paul was going to get traded soon after because, after all, the Thunder are a rebuilding team. They aren't
mhm.
really trying to compete. And what I've seen from them throughout the season is that they've shut down all of those expectations, and now they are in the running for the 4th seed.
Definitely. And guess who they might most likely have to face in the first round? Those Houston Rockets.
That would be a fantastic series. I think there will be a lot of tension between the two teams.
Oh yeah, you think? Especially with Russ and Harden facing their former teams. Oh boy. Oh man. I
Yeah.
can only imagine the salt if the Thunder were to win that series though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, again, and like the Rockets have come so close to finally jumping the hump, and they've just been again losing these close series. They win a few games in the series, but they eventually can't get over the hump and they lose. So maybe this is the year. Maybe it's not. We'll have to see.
Yeah, maybe. But there, believe it or not, there's still a fight going on for that 2 seed. The Nuggets are only a game behind the Clippers for that 2 spot.
Yeah,
So it's close. It's getting close. I mean, the Lakers were basically set in stone to get the top seed, so we're not even gonna talk about that. But dude, it's getting close. It's getting close, man. I I'm gonna have fun watching the NBA this week.
yeah, and back to the Nuggets. I just love their lineup. You see Nikola Jokic
Ugh.
at guard,
Ugh.
and then you see Bobo, who hasn't even played a regular season NBA game until he got to the bubble, and he is playing in the starting lineup
Oh my
at
gosh.
forward. That's the Rockets' worst nightmare. Because the
Yeah,
Rockets, they don't even have a center. They play small ball. And the Nuggets are the exact opposite of that, having Bobo and Jokic playing two positions dominated by smaller players. That is so funny to me.
that would be a great Western Conference Finals. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Great. That would be so great. Oh my gosh. That team is just so stacked right now. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., who the Nuggets are really showing that they were smart picking that man in that draft.
Yeah. They sure were. And he has performed so well.
Ugh, man. The Nuggets lineup is so filthy. Murray, Porter, Jokic, Bobo. Oh my gosh, that's filthy. Oh, that's filthy. Whew.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them continue playing in the bubble.
Yeah, as you. Business as usual for the Western Conference is always interesting. Always interesting.
Yeah.
But the East is catching up to him, though. We still got some playoff seeds to talk about, man. The Heat and the Pacers are literally neck and neck. They both are 43 and 27. They both have 2 games in the next 5 days against each other. And to top it off, we get to see the rematch between TJ Warren and Jimmy Butler.
I was just about to say, I think TJ Warren took Jimmy Butler's words to heart because in his first 3 games in the bubble, TJ Warren averaged 39.7 points per game. Ugh. 14 of 23 from the three, and then a 65.3 field goal percentage. That's unheard of for a player like TJ Warren.
Yeah, plus 2 clutch triples.
Yeah.
Man, I don't.
I'm
Woo.
excited to just see him play because it is impressive seeing what he can do.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't fizzle out against Butler because that would be awkward, wouldn't it? But
That yeah, I then Jimmy Butler could say he was right all this time.
yeah, but it's gonna be so satisfying to see what happens because if Jimmy Butler is the one getting held to 24 minutes and 3 points, oh my gosh, that's gonna be. Oh man, I'm look. The Pacers and the Heat, I want that playoff series. I want that series. I need the Sixers to stop winning. Well, and that's going to be likely because, well, no Ben Simmons probably for the
Yeah.
rest of the season. And Joel Embiid just got injured a little bit too. So I don't expect them to be jumping up any spots soon. So stay right at 6 for me, Sixers.
Yeah. And again, I think a Pacers and Heat series will be very, very close. That would be an exciting series.
Mm, man. And they've had some encounters in the past, especially in the PG LeBron days, man.
Yeah.
Just renewed. And that's gonna be oh man, I'm so excited.
Hey, yeah, like you said, we need the Sixers to stay where they're at, and hopefully they do because I'm ready for more bad blood in the playoffs.
Oh my gosh, I love the bad blood. There's bad blood everywhere, man. There's bad blood everywhere, literally. But the Raptors and the Celtics are pretty much locked in their spots at 2 and 3, so they're probably just chilling. So are the Bucks at the top seed. So yeah, man, it's going to be an exciting, crazy, insane finish. The Raptors and the Bucks play tonight on ESPN, and the Nuggets and the Lakers are on TNT. That's going to be a pivotal game.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, the rest of the way, I'm look. Keep your eye on Thursday. Thursday is the day that is going to basically be Judgment Day because you have the Bucks playing the Grizzlies, Grizzlies fighting for that A spot. The Mavericks and the Suns fighting for that A spot. Spurs Jazz, Spurs fighting for that A spot, and Trailblazers Nets, Blazers fighting for that A spot.
yeah. There's gonna be a lot of just anxiety for all those teams just on the cusp of fighting for that eighth.
Yeah, and I bet you there's gonna be some scoreboard watching too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, buddy, it's gonna be very exciting to see these last few days of NBA regular restart season, and then seeing the playoffs get. Oh my gosh, I want to see that schedule drop.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, dude. But I I don't know about the college football season, man. It does not look too good.
Yeah, it does not. It's kind of it's. I wouldn't say it's surprising because it's not.
Mm-mm, not
But
really.
it definitely will be interesting to see what these power conferences decide to do.
Yeah, I hope they can um figure something out. I mean, it would be nice from a fan's perspective. It would be nice if we could find some way to do it in the fall, but realistically, I see them pushing it to the spring. I don't know how you can do football at a time like this. I really don't, especially considering that there is no sense of bubbles. You can't do bubbles in colleges.
No, you can't. And I do like how they are going to go conference only because you don't want to see like Michigan State go to California or Florida or just cross country games. I feel like that would be the worst thing to do. So going conference only will be very pivotal in trying to get this college football season in play.
Yeah, definitely. And there have been some Power Five conferences like the Big 12 and the ACC adding one non-conference game. I mean, you see Oklahoma actually defied every single moral of the pandemic and actually moved up their Missouri State game on their schedule from September 5th to August 29th. Whoa.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. That is
Yeah,
really really weird.
yeah, very odd. But for the ACC, I completely understand them trying to add in one non-conference game because okay, Florida State, that's SEC ACC. South Carolina Clemson, SEC ACC rivalry. Georgia Tech, SEC ACC rivalry. Louisville Kentucky, ACC SEC rivalry. So I completely understand that. And in the ACC, they was like, we're gonna add in one non-conference game so we can have our SEC rivals. But the SEC was like, no, conference only. I was like, dang, they just took a jab like that at the ACC.
Yeah, they definitely shut them down there.
That was sad, man. And that was definitely doable too, man. I don't know why the SEC did that. Florida State is literally an interstate matchup. So is South Carolina Clemson and Georgia Tech and Louisville Kentucky.
Yeah, I that's very almost confusing. I don't know.
Yeah. And especially considering the marketing that could have came out of those games, man.
Yeah,
I'm
that those
surprised.
all are normally pretty close games, and yeah, I don't know why they scratched them.
I don't know either, but I'll tell you what is scratching my head because that was a boneheaded decision. I don't know why they
God,
did that. But
yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, I mean the Big Ten let everybody know we're ready to pull the plug.
Yeah, they definitely did, and that is very disappointing because our two favorite teams are both in the Big Ten. So
Hmm.
hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, I would understand.
Yeah, it's just the fact that no conference wants to be the first and no conference wants to be the last.
Yeah,
It's basically just like a appearance thingy, but it's weird, especially considering with the Pac-12 players movement and the Big Ten players movement, and demanding safety precautions, adequate testing, medical insurance after 6 years of finished eligibility, the ability to make money off themselves, their images and likeness and stuff, and even asking for 50% of the conference's athletics revenue in each sport.
yeah, that is very bold by the Pac-12, and I don't see anything wrong with it, especially demanding safety precautions. That's similar to what the NFL did, and rightfully so, because we don't want to see any of the players getting sick or anything.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, I hope they can figure something out with efficiency. I don't care if you postpone it to the spring or find a way to do it in the fall. Just make a decision that can give us hope that we can see college football.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
That's really all I want, man. But stuff is going on in the MLB too. I mean, the virus hasn't really completely gone away. The Cardinals still have not played since what, July?
J- yeah, July 29th. So that means 6 straight series have been postponed for them.
Ouch.
Yeah, and I really do not see baseball in their future. I don't.
Oh man, that's that's really gonna suck, man. And especially considering that they were like literally promoting the Cubs Cardinals Sunday Night Baseball game on ESPN. They had to change the
Yeah.
game to Indians White Sox.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just really unfortunate. I saw a headline where the reason a lot of their players um contracted the virus was because they went out to a casino. That is not smart whatsoever. That is so dumb.
Manfred is looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Very disappointed in the Cardinals. They could be the one to tear down the entire MLB season.
Yeah, and then they're gonna look. They're gonna look at the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's gonna give the Cubs even more reason to hate them because they're on top of the division right now. So that rivalry is gonna be bolstered.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it is.
But I'll tell you another rivalry that's bolstered. And let me talk about what's been going on with the standings recently. Yo, the Astros have been slumping, and the Athletics have been absolutely on fire.
Yeah, and that is kind of ironic because we saw what happened last night. There was a mini brawl.
Oh yeah, not between two players, right?
No, it was between one player and the entire bench.
I remember what was that? What was that dude name on the Reds that went after the entire Pirates team? That's what it
Yeah,
reminds me of.
yeah, exactly. That is Amir Garrett, where
Amir
he
Garrett.
tried to take on the entire Pirates bench, and he actually did make contact
Yeah.
last night. The A's player just absolutely got tackled before he got even near a player, so it didn't really work out in his favor. But it was still exciting to see again some fireworks in the MLB.
But as usual, apparently nowadays, especially with the sweep, the Athletics got the last laugh. I mean, they've won their last 9. They've gone 2 top of the standings episode without having an L on the schedule. That's impressive.
Yeah, that is very impressive. But you want to know what also is impressive?
Don't tell me. Oh man, I have a feeling you're gonna bring up that Tigers Pirates shootout.
You know, I feel like it would be. I was debating because I was like, the Tigers are my team, but we've seen what happened last year. They started off very, very well, and then they started to slump. So I didn't want to give the Tigers too much shine because the same thing could happen this year. But that Tigers and Pirates series was a shootout. I've never seen anything like it, especially coming from my Tigers, who had 114 losses last year.
Man, I don't. I definitely didn't see it coming. Especially when you factor in the Tigers, history of slumping after a good start, and the fact that the Pirates are already garbage enough as it is. I was very surprised to see such padded stats in this series. How many runs were combined in hits?
Oh my gosh, there were 49 runs combined between the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates, two teams who haven't been good. That is crazy. And then not even 49 runs combined, but 67 hits combined in 3 games. 3 games.
Was it a sweep?
You know what? I had to get the broom out. It was a sweep.
Wow.
First time since April 2019.
Yo, I mean that's got to. I mean, knock on wood and metal, but I don't. I mean, hey, when the Tigers sweep a series and they're over 500, you can't help but just look at it like what is going on, and then turn away and just let it keep happening.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Spencer Turnbull, the starting pitcher for the Tigers who started game 3, has been fantastic. He has been, I would say, the highlight of the Tigers season so far. He has not lost a game, and every game that he has pitched so far, he has just again been unstoppable. So I think if Spencer Turnbull continues to pitch successfully, I think the Tigers could make a run at the, pun intended, top of the standings. But in game 2, the Tigers hit 4 first inning home runs, which again, that is crazy. It was the first game in which the Tigers hit 4 first inning home runs since July 29th, 1974.
Whew, yeah, that's a very good slugging performance by the Tigers. 49 runs, 67 hits combined. in a series, yeah, that's very good. But they're only half a game behind the Twins for the division lead. They're definitely in the thick of the playoff race, but we're gonna sit back and just let them keep doing their thing. Right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna jinx anything because we all know how that turns out. So, if I hope they continue to have fun playing baseball. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that. I'm not even gonna say anything that could hurt their chances of. I'm just gonna stop there. I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, let's talk about the Rockies then.
Yes.
But yeah, seriously though, the Rockies, top of the NL West, this deep into the season, they're 15 games in.
Yeah, that is again impressive.
They're hanging.
The Dodgers, I'm again kind of disappointed. With a team with Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Max Muncy, I don't know how they aren't in first place. But respect to the Rockies.
Yeah, it's not like the Dodgers are bad. They're 11-5. It's just the Rockies have been that much better.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you just got to tip your hat to the Rockies, man. That's very impressive.
it sure is.
But also, you also have to kind of tip your hat to the Marlins, people have been calling them the makeshift Marlins because their roster just drastically changed. But dude, they've been kind of. I mean, they've lost their last two games, but regardless, they had that winning streak off the jump.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of funny because technically, for a time, they were considered the best team in the MLB due to the fact that they only played like 3 games. But still, if they have the best record in the MLB, that's all they need. And so far, they're 7-3. That's not bad. They have played less games than most teams due to the virus breaking out. But
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing if their success can continue.
Yeah, dude, I'm very. I mean, you can say that about a lot of teams in this league that haven't historically been, good. But I really like come September, man. That's when I'm really going to be having my eyes peeled for these games because I mean it doesn't feel like it, but next month is the last month of the regular season.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
Oh man, like we're only a fourth into the season. Wow.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it really is, man. But I got some little things to talk about before we get to trivia. Um,
Okay.
I saw um a couple of golf highlights. I
Oh,
mean, there's
golf on top of the standings. Wow.
yeah, golf on top of the standings, but for good reason too, because I seen that named Collin. His name reminds me of Travis Ishikawa, but it's not Ishikawa. It's definitely not Ishikawa. But um,
Morikawa.
but I seen that he was one of the four youngest players to ever win. Like it was one of those PGA tournaments. But I was like, wow, that's impressive. Like he was younger than Tiger Woods when he won the tournament. That's very impressive.
Yes, as a 23-year-old, he is the third youngest player of the PGA tournament to win a championship. That is impressive.
Yeah, very beating Tiger in anything. That's something to marvel at, you know.
Yeah.
But another comical thing I saw in golf, man. So Jason Derulo and Will Smith. Um, so Will Smith was teaching Derulo how to do a golf swing, a proper
Okay.
golf swing and stuff. And he was fixing him up, getting him in the stance. And then he was like, now he was continuing his demonstration, and he was like, now hold right there, don't now hold on there, don't swing. And then Dorello swung like he was going to swing, and he swung it back. Will Smith was behind him. He swung it back, and Jason Dorello knocked a tooth out of Will Smith's mouth,
Wow. Wow.
and he was knocked back. He was like, ooh, ooh, and I was just like, oh my goodness. and then he was smiling for the camera like this dude just knocked my tooth out with a golf club, and he didn't even need to.
Yeah, we were talking about hockey earlier, and that is to get your tooth knocked out. That is a hockey injury.
Oh my gosh, I was just looking at that like, and they both hilariously just kind of made up afterwards, and then posted a picture on Instagram, both of them smiling. Will Smith showing the tooth that got knocked out and stuff. I was like, oh my goodness, I thought that was pretty comical.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of social media, big move for the WNBA. They announced a partnership with Twitter to stream some games.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that may bring in some more fans, which is
Oh,
good to hear.
oh yeah, that should be very interesting, man. But shoot, man, that was a lot. That was a lot of stuff that we covered this week.
Yeah. Real quick before we end it, I need to give props to my Orlando City SC team. Going to the championship. Finally, a team of mine is going to the championship game, and I am very excited for Tuesday night where they take on Portland.
I am too.
Let's
I really
go.
want to see what happens. I mean, if they win, the first thing I'm going to think is Andrew's team won a championship. Oh my gosh, the world is changing.
Yeah, yes, the world is changing for my sports teams for the better. And yeah, let's go Orlando City. They have had a great tournament so far, winning some very tough games over LAFC, the favorite, and then just going on and beating Minnesota pretty handily. So, you know what? I'm looking forward to the game on Tuesday night. It's going to be a tough game against Portland, but I'm happy for Orlando City. They have had very little success in their time as an MLS team, and who knows, maybe this is the time for them to prove to the rest of the league that they are there to stay. And
Yes,
that's what I have to say about Orlando City. Thank you. Thank you very much.
definitely, dude. I'm really looking forward to that championship game, man. But after that game, it's off back to the home markets for the regular season, maybe with fans the very next day.
Yeah, we saw fans in Europe attending soccer games. So, I mean, maybe the U.S. will try that first, and we'll see how that works. But if there are fans, and MLS is the first sport to bring back fans, they were the first to bring back sports. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very very excited to see if fans in the stands will happen.
Yeah, very. But you did have this very very difficult trivia question for us, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. Last week we were talking about how um the Tigers pitcher Tyler Alexander had 9 straight strikeouts, but that was not the MLB record. So last week
Mm-hmm.
we asked who has the MLB record with 10 straight strikeouts, and we had a few bonus questions as well, like what team did this pitcher strike out 10 batters against, and in what year?
See, man, you
Drum
broke
roll.
the Jotham rule by going into 20th century history facts. But I'll do the drum roll.
And the answer is Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver struck out 10 straight batters against the Padres in 1970. So if you guessed Tom Seaver against the Padres in 1970, you are a winner.
Tom Seaver. Well, wow, yeah, that's a dose of MLB history that I needed.
Yeah, a Mets legend, and he was way before our time. So, that was exciting for, the older MLB fans, history buffs out there. And yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
wow.
time for your trivia question.
Yeah, I souped up even though I had a little response to that question that you asked because I had absolutely no idea. I have a question for you that you might not have a clue about.
Okay.
So my question this week is, what is the NHL's most frequent playoff matchup that does not pit two original six teams against each other?
That is a tough question. That is a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly. There, if it does not pit two original six teams, that means there are so many other teams that could be frequent playoff matchups.
Hmm.
Um, uh, I don't know if you want to answer this question, but how many times have these two teams met in playoffs?
22.
Okay, now I give up. I'm excited to see the answer for next week because at that when you said 22 times that these two teams have played each other in the playoffs, I'm lost now. So I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah, dude, I had a lot of fun digging up for this question because it's like we
Yeah,
all know about, we all know that the most frequent playoff matchups overall in the NHL come for original six teams because, well, that's original six. But what
yeah,
happens outside of the original six when neither of the two teams are original six teams? That is why I dug up this question, especially in the thick of the NHL playoffs.
yeah, and that's why I love sports because you get these crazy, unheard of stats that you would never think of. So I like this trivia question.
Yeah, definitely. What is the NHL's most frequent playoff matchup that does not pit two original six teams against each other? That is going to be a great trivia question to answer. But yeah, Drew, it's been fun, man. We covered a lot, man. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, that was a great episode, and that we thought last episode, episode 3, was our best episode. I think it's just going to continue. This was our best episode. So many fun and exciting things to talk about, and I'm looking forward to next week. NBA playoffs.
Hmm.
We got almost like a sneak preview to who is playing well and who can get to the second round in the NHL, and we can finally unveil the MLS is back tournament champions.
Champion.
So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited for next week.
Yeah, definitely. The more sports, the better.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely. But same time next week.
Yes, sir. Okay, so if you guys enjoyed, please be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Email us at topofthestandings@gmail.com if you want to ask a question, give insight or thought on what we should talk about, give us topics, and anything like that. Yeah, and subscribe, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Google Podcasts, all that. And yeah, this has been Top of the Standings. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys next time.